All right, so today I'm gonna make gyudon, Japanese beef bowl, which is one of the girls' favorite dishes. I'm gonna show you everything from what I buy and how to cook it and how to prepare it for your family so it looks beautiful. So first ingredient is the beef. So I'm here at the Japanese grocery store, and one of the things that's awesome is they have a lot of thinly sliced meat, which you need for gyudon. If you don't have thinly sliced meat selection like this, then you can just take any kind of big cut of meat, put it into the freezer for about 45 minutes, get it really nice and solid, and then thinly slice it. That will help you slice it a little bit thin. But here, they're already sliced for me. So this is what I normally use. This is called the beef chuck thin sliced, and it's for, usually it's for like sukiyaki or some kind of, oh here, like for example, it says sukiyaki family pack, which is a Japanese dish where you need thinly sliced meats. And so they have a lot of options here. Even this right here, shout out to Mishima Reserve, a local company. This is their beef chuck roll, thin sliced. Really, whatever you want to use is what you should use. It's not really a big deal. Now, this is not supposed to be a really fancy dish. I kind of like give it a little bit more of an elevated treatment, but this is supposed to be Japanese fast food. In fact, they have Japanese fast food establishments. Yoshinoya is a gyudon place in Japan, you know, beef bowl place, and it's like fast food because you go in there, you get your quick gyudon bowl, and it's ready to go. It's delicious, but it's not like anything elegant. It's not elevated for sure, but I like to, you know, spruce things up. Because there is 7 of us, I am gonna buy the value pack. This is the family sized, and it's $12.49 a pound for this thinly sliced beef. And what I like to look for is a lot of fat, because that's where a lot of the flavor is. You don't absolutely need it. I'm gonna buy 2 packs of this, so it's gonna be about 3 pounds total. That'll be perfect for our family. The key is you want it thinly sliced. Can't say that enough. Gotta be thin. Next is the ginger. So ginger is kind of the hallmark of gyudon. It gives it its unique flavor. Get any ginger that you've got available at your grocery store. In addition to this, you're gonna want onions. So I'm gonna just get some yellow onions. This one, maybe this one. And really, these are the main ingredients other than the beef that you're gonna put into your gyudon. I'm gonna show you guys some of the ingredients for the sauce, and then it's the toppings. And it's really just that. It's really simple. So let's go ahead and get the ingredients for the sauce first. Frankly, you can easily use Kikkoman, which is gonna be your best value. I mean, that whole thing is the cost of this fancy bottle. But of course, with anything, the better the ingredients, the better the flavor. So yeah, just get whatever you like. Look, even Kikkoman has an organic one that I used to buy, but I don't buy it that often anymore. This is usually meant for dipping into sushi, but like I said, I want to elevate this gyudon a little bit more to make it a little bit more fancy. A hallmark of Japanese cooking is fish flakes or bonito flakes, and this makes any kind of soup way more umami. So the thing that you use MSG for, this is how it originated actually. So rather than using these fish flakes and making yourself a fish stock, there's a much easier way to do it. Let's come over here to the dashi section, and this is the most famous brand, Ajinomoto brand, which is also MSG maker. They also make the MSG. But hondashi, this is bonito flakes put into like a powder form. And this is what's interesting, it's right next to the chicken stock, the beef stock, bouillon cubes, or the Knorr ones that you're probably used to seeing. But yeah, grab yourself this because you're gonna need this to add that umami. Kind of add a unique base flavor to your gyudon. I only say unique, not because it's unique to gyudon, it's just unique to Americans who are used to eating like a beef stock or a chicken stock base flavor. And now for the toppings. There's only one topping in the produce section that I'm gonna get, and it is green onions. Now, I don't know if this is traditional, but I like to put it because of both the flavor, but also the crispness. So all I do is wash this, slice it up really thin, and then I sprinkle it on top, and I like the contrast. So you're gonna cook the onions, obviously, in the gyudon, but this is not gonna get cooked. It's gonna add like a freshness on the top, like a garnish for your gyudon. So I like to always get it, but make sure you wash it because it is kind of dirty sometimes. Put that in there. I've never tried this fruit before. What is, oh yeah, it's called Buddha's hand citron, goblin fingers. Next garnish, pickled ginger, specifically Kizami Shoga pickled ginger. And this is exactly what it looks like. And it's a nice little contrast. and complement to the ginger that you're gonna put into the dish. In Japan, one of the things that they love is presentation. So a lot of these garnishes, though they actually make sense in the dish in terms of their flavor, a lot of it has to do also with how it looks, because if it looks pretty, it must taste pretty. Last but not least, eggs. Now there's a shortage today on eggs, which is interesting because I haven't seen that in a while. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get this right here. These are some pasture-raised eggs. This brand right here, one thing I like is the egg yolks are very orange. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab these and show you guys how to make an onsen tamago. Translate to spa egg. Onsen is like a hot water spa or like a hot spring bath. And in Japan, it's very common to do the spa or go into like a hot tub or something like that. So onsen tamago is an egg going into the spa, not the actual one for humans, but its own spa, and you put boiling hot water on top of it. So it cooks it a little differently, and the texture of the egg white and the egg yolk is so completely different, but it's perfect for this dish, and I'm going to show you because it is probably the hardest part of this recipe to do, but once you get it down, it's going to be totally worth it, and it's going to really make your dish so elegant. The last ingredient, which is kind of the most boring, but that definitely makes a difference when you spend some money, is rice. So normally people would get like a Nico rice, or if you're from a different country, maybe your own rice, but please try getting a Japanese rice. And if you can, especially if you want to really impress somebody, get the fancy rice. So Nico, $8.79, really good value for rice. Right here, double the price. And I know it seems like ridiculous to pay a lot of money for rice, but the thing about sushi grade rice, it's made to elevate fish, sashimi, into nigiri, into sushi. So if it elevates sushi, guess what? It's definitely gonna elevate your gyudon. So I buy this in a huge 50-pound bag. I bought it on sale the other day. I'm telling you, totally worth it. You don't have to do it all the time because it is expensive, but trust me, if you try this sushi grade rice on your gyudon or below your gyudon, you're gonna love it. All right, just one more thing I forgot to grab, which is cabbage. So I like to have a side salad with me at gyudon, and my favorite thing is just having some cabbage. And I'm gonna show you guys how to prepare it so it's actually good. In America, normally you eat, lettuce. When you normally eat lettuce when you're doing like a salad here in America, but I'm telling you, try this cabbage and try my method for getting it prepared, and you're never gonna go back. Whoa, it's raining. Cabbage is really good for you, but it's kind of musky. It kind of has like a weird texture, but I'm gonna show you how to make this so it's nice and crispy, nice and light, and it's gonna be a good side dish for your gyudon. All right, all done. Now it's time to check out. All right, I'm all done now. I'm gonna go home, show you how to prep this and cook this. And of course, eat this gyudon. All right, just got home, unloaded all the groceries, but I have 30 minutes to make this gyudon. So I'm gonna show you why this is such an amazing dish to do last minute, or if you want something quick, because it's delicious, but it's very convenient. It doesn't take very long, so let's get into it. I'm gonna slice up these onions, not too thin, but not too thick. So I gotta peel it, slice it, and then I'll move on to the ginger afterwards. All I'm gonna do first is get the peel off the outside layer. I even take some of the onion off that outside layer because it does make it super easy to peel. I'm gonna do that with both. Now onion number 2. By the way, there's an easier way to do that. I don't know why I didn't do it before. Cut it in half, then peel it. Boom. Onions are so affordable. That outside layer, even though obviously you could eat that, just makes it way more faster. Little hack, by the way, if you want your cutting board to not slip, use a partially soaked or moist paper towel, put it down, then it doesn't move. By the way, it's good to keep that root part because it'll make it a lot easier to slice. But in this case, I don't want to keep it because I don't need it. So if I was gonna, do diced, I could just cut it across this way and then cut it this way, and then I gotta dice, but I'm gonna cut off these nubs, remove them, both. Now I know professionals, they can do it really fast. I'm not a professional, and I just take my time. I don't try to go too fast. Hence why I'm probably not that good at cutting onions compared to like a real chef. The real chef, they would go like this if they had a sharper knife. Curl their fingers back, but I'm kind of an amateur. All right, ginger. You don't need this much ginger. You probably only need 2 nubs. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this one and this one. And it's really easy to peel ginger. You need a spoon. I do like to just wash off the ginger a little bit because sometimes there's some stuff on it. So with the ginger, just take the edge of a spoon, gonna move it across the skin, peel it like so. I'm just trying to do this quickly, not perfectly. Boom. That's what you're looking for. Get yourself one of these. You can get them at any Japanese 99-cent store like a Daiso or online. It's just a grater. You can use a microplane too, but this is kind of the best. And you're just gonna take the ginger, again, nothing fancy here. You're just trying to grate it. That's all I really need because ginger goes a long way because it's very strong. I didn't even need that other nub, so. All right, for the meat, it's really simple. Already thin, so I'm still gonna cut it a little bit so that it's not as big. Not gonna take very much. So look at that, I don't even have to cut this because it's so thin, and that's what I want. Boom. Now for the sauce. So really simple. Gonna start off with some soy sauce. This is the fancy stuff right here that I bought, but this is actually the leftovers, what I had before. And then some sugar. So this is a sweet sauce. Obviously there's soy sauce too, so it's salty. You're gonna do 2 tablespoons. By the way, this recipe is for feeding a lot of people, like a big family, or so you can half all this if you're gonna make less. 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. Whatever soy sauce you have, you can use. And I'm being really liberal with it. Now, if you're gonna use an Aloha or Filipino style, it's just gonna have kind of a different flavor to it, which is fine, but just know it's not gonna taste the same as the Japanese style. Mirin, we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of that. I'm doing it rough measurements, adding a little extra. Last but not least, sake. I always have cooking, oh, it's not even cooking sake, it's real sake in the drawer. Same thing, 2 tablespoons here. Very liberal with it. Then mix it. This is something I would suggest doing ahead of time because that sugar sometimes doesn't dissolve. So what I like to do is just kind of whisk it and keep the whisk in there, and then once in a while whisk it until that sugar really dissolves. So, all right, so that the hondashi, this is just a packet of it. This is really the umami. Same company that makes the MSG makes this too, so I'm kind of eyeballing it today. But this is what's going to give it that, depth of flavor, and of course that unique Japanese characteristic. And this is some fairly warm water to help it dissolve, and similarly I'm kind of eyeballing it here. There's a reason why I've got these separated, and you're gonna see that a little bit later. Mise en place. So I've got the meat, got the soy sauce mixture, got the dashi stock, got the ginger and the onions. And I like to put it in the order at which I'm gonna cook it or use it. So this is the order. Now it's time to cook. Now in Japan, I actually don't know what they're using for the pan. I just like to use a shallow pan. I don't know what you would call this. Anyways, a pan like this, just because we're cooking a lot. And I do prefer stainless steel. I just like how it cooks. So I'm gonna get this nice and hot. If you have one of these nicer stainless steel pans, you're gonna have to really get it nice and warmed up using avocado oil. And at this point, I'm having the heat on high now. Now you don't want to cook all this meat all at once because that's going to crowd the pan, and I don't really want it to stew. I do like to get a little bit of searing on there. I just like that for flavor. So I'm not going to overcrowd it. I mean, this is already more than I normally would put on there, but I'm going to do it in 2 batches. Now, even though I said I wanted to get a little searing, I don't necessarily need it to be browned. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cook this about 75–80% of the way, because I will finish cooking this later. But it's on a high heat right now, and I'm just gonna try to make sure that most of the red is gone. But it's not critical that all of it is gone. All right, we're just about there. And it's okay, a little bit of red, especially if it's fresh, high quality beef. You can actually eat it, obviously, just like a steak, a little medium rare. So this is just about where I want it to be. I do get a glass bowl like this, and I'm going to put it into a strainer. I'm straining it because when I return this to the pan, I don't really want all the moisture in there at first. The pan is still hot. I'm leaving the heat on because I will be cooking the next batch of beef here in a second. I'm gonna add a little bit more avocado oil. Now, a lot of fat rendered out of that beef, so you don't need as much as before. Get it nice and hot, and then add the rest of your beef. You know, when I used to cook this back in the day, I would boil the meat, and that was a method that I utilized, but I don't do that anymore because this is just so much faster, because you had to strain the meat, and I felt like it took a little bit of the flavor out, but mainly it just took so much longer, so that's why I sear it now, if you remember those old days. All right, just like before, you don't have to cook it all the way because we will be finishing this. But that meat from before, I'm gonna bring it back over here, and I'm gonna add it right back in. And see, this is why I don't want all those juices, because I actually want all these juices for later, but I don't want it in the pan right now. And so this is a process where you're gonna basically finish cooking everything, and it's kind of meat in the middle, no pun intended. Take your soy sauce mixture. Again, make sure you stir it real good. Get that sugar out of there. You're gonna pour it right over the top of this. There you go. At this point, I'm gonna lower the heat to low temp and just let it continue cooking. I'm not trying to fully cook this, so I'd say I'm still undercooking it to about 95%, because later you're gonna see how I finish it. I'm gonna bring this glass bowl and strainer back. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn off the heat now and move the meat over here. Now you can just pour this right over the strainer, but I don't wanna create a mess and have this splatter everywhere. So with cooking, there's a lot of patience that's required. If you're somebody that likes to rush, no bueno. Even though I'm kind of in a rush, I'm still taking my time. So now I got most of that out of here. I'm gonna go ahead and pour the rest. Definitely do not throw this out because you're gonna need all of this soy sauce mixture. Turn the heat back on, just like that. Got it on high. We've got the dashi. We're gonna go ahead and put it in right into the pan. It doesn't need to be super hot yet because obviously it's gonna get up to temp. This is gonna help to kind of clean off the pan, get all those bits and pieces off, or I guess deglaze. Now you're gonna add the ginger. Scrape it right on in there. Now this is the thing with ginger, because it is very potent. I'm trying to cook the ginger flavor a little bit so that it becomes a little more subtle and not as strong. So this is really important. I'm gonna let this go ahead and just boil here for probably about 4 or 5 minutes. And I already can smell the ginger changing, that reserve liquid and soy sauce mixture. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in as well. I'm not gonna put the meat in yet, and let this get up to temp, which is gonna take probably another 2 or 3 minutes. Now the ginger smell is really toned down. It actually smells perfect. I do add a little bit of MSG. There is MSG inside that dashi, but I find that this really just puts it right over the top. Now it's time to add the onions. You're not trying to overcook these onions. You really kind of undercook them because they will soften. I like to have a little bite, so I'm gonna put them in. Let the liquids get kind of up to boil again because the temperature just dropped once I added those onions. All right, I'm gonna cover this, lower the temperature to about a medium low. then set the timer for 3 minutes. And then after that, it's ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and wash the rice. The thing about rice is, a lot of people, they don't like to wash the rice. I remember hearing Bobby Flay, he didn't wash his rice, which I don't understand. Because if you ask any Asian, you always wash the rice. And so, especially when you've got a high grade sushi rice like this, wash it 3 times. Look at all that's coming out of there. And what I like to do is do exactly this. Wash, wash, wash. Rinse it a little bit with the faucet to further remove all that whatever starch. Dump it out. Fill it up again. And you're gonna repeat this process 3 times. Then you got yourself some perfectly washed and ready to cook rice. Boom. There you go. See, not overcooked. It's boiling, so I'm gonna go ahead and lower the heat down now. And the goal here is finish cooking everything through. So add the meat back and you're basically done. Even these leftover juices right here, sometimes, comes draining out of the meat. Add that all back in and you're basically done with your gyudon. You're not cooking this really, you're just heating it all the way through because that beef has cooled down. You can just let this sit. You can eat this right away or eat it a few hours from now or even save it for overnight. It gets even better. But next up is to finish cooking the rice and then get the egg ready. All I'm gonna do is cover it, turn off the heat and let it just sit there. Boom. Onsen tamago, which translates to spa egg for the gyudon. By the way, shout out to Vital Farms. I've been a fan of theirs forever. They've been hooking it up with free eggs lately, so I appreciate it. So onsen tamago is basically spa egg, if you're translating that, and it's gonna create a texture that's very, very unique. I'm gonna go ahead and do, let's just say, 5 of these eggs. And what you're gonna need is some kind of pot like this and some boiling water, which I do have over here. Let me use the tongs, it's boiling. Turn that off, gotta get a lid here. So it's really simple. It's called onsen tamago, spa egg, because the way you cook this is you pour hot water over the top of it and you just let it sit. It's only gonna take, I wanna say about, this is a room temperature egg, so maybe like 13 minutes, 14 minutes. What I like to do is put a cover on it and let it sit there. So this is the wildest thing ever. The texture of the egg is, it's gonna have a really soft, silky, like cloud-like texture for the egg white, but the egg yolk will be slightly soft, if not like clumped up. It's kind of like bizarre, it's hard to explain. The egg yolk is more stiff than the egg white because of this method. So really important, set a timer for 14 minutes.
Got it, 14 minutes. And that's starting now.
Now when you do this, you're gonna wanna make sure to have an ice bath ready to go because you wanna stop the cooking process right away. Now it is not an easy technique to master. So what I like to do is take it out a little bit ahead of time and check it. So crack it real quick, put it into a bowl, see if it's the right consistency. I'm gonna show you guys that right now too. Because depending on the size of the eggs and what temperature you're cooking these from. So if they were cold, it'd be a different cooking time. But I'm gonna get the ice bath ready first. Okay, it's been 14 minutes. Just gonna take one of these out. As I mentioned, normally I do this for 60 minutes, but you can easily overcook this. I'm gonna turn the lid back. And you don't want to overcook it because then it kind of just turns it into boiled egg of sorts. And so even though this is not cooled down yet, I'm gonna go ahead and test it. Let's see how this turns out here. You can zoom up, Chris. Oh yeah, look at that. Tell me that ain't the coolest egg you've ever seen. It's very soft and elegant. I mean, it's literally perfect, but I gotta take out all the other ones. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick and then go ahead and plate the gyudon. Hopefully these other ones also turned out good. Oh ho ho ho! Sorry, I'm excited. It's just so difficult to get this texture. So when you do, it's just something to celebrate. And don't worry, I've had plenty of eggs I ruined and I just pour it on no matter how it turns out, but these are amazing. I had to make a second batch because we already ate the first batch. Okay, we got the onsen tamago that came out perfectly. That's kind of what you're looking for right there. This one's actually even better. So anyways, first got to get the rice. The egg kind of turned out perfectly. I had to use green onions though instead of white onions. It'll still be very good, but I ran out of regular onions.
It's okay. Thin me is, I don't know, I love.
Right in the middle. A little bit of salt right on there. This is purely just for show. Sesame seeds. Just like that. There you go. Gyudon.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, look at that egg.
Look at the egg. So yummy. Alright, let's go try. I want to get a bite with everything. So we get some rice, egg, and then okay, can't really get everything, but you get some the ginger too.
Is it good? For real?
Even with that red seasoning you added, I don't know what that is. But
Yeah, if you want more, you can have more. Okay, there you go.
the egg is perfect.
Girls love the gyudon. Judy loves the gyudon. And Japanese beef bowl. It's fast food in Japan, but you can really kind of like fancy it up and make it something you eat for dinner as a family. Today, just Juliana.
I didn't know it's fast food in Japan. I didn't know
Well, they
that.
have fast food places that serve it. Hopefully you try it. I have a couple videos on gyudon on this channel, but this one is just a more relaxed, longer version of my recipe. Shout out to Cooking with Dog, who taught me how to make this
10 out of
through
10.
YouTube years and years ago. Bye.